penalties, questionable play calling, and breakdowns on offense and defense. Folks, the way the New England Patriots are currently playing is unsustainable. Stick around. You're about to be locked in to the Locked On Patriots podcast.
You are Locked On Patriots, your daily New England Patriots podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello to all of you Foxborough faithful. Thank you once again for making Locked On Patriots a daily part of your New England Patriots coverage. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter as your host, Mike Debate, MDABATE NFL. While you're out there showing some love to Locked On Patriots social media style, please follow our account there as well at LO_Patriots. And Pats fans, today's episode brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to, and they help you do it faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. Terms and conditions apply. Pats fans, 13 penalties, a passing game that produces only 148 yards and converting only 4 of 13 on third down. It is no wonder your New England Patriots fell to 1-4 on the 2024 NFL season. 15-10 loss to the Miami Dolphins on Sunday at Gillette Stadium. Jacoby Brissett, 18 of 34, 160 passing yards before adjustment, that is, and opting for a midfield-bound Hunter Henry on his final throw of the game when a sideline target was desperately needed, an overturned touchdown call, which still has Patriots fans upset. Folks, it was a major letdown in Foxborough, and here today to help us break it all down is the return, the triumphant return of a fan favorite here on Locked On Patriots, my good friend, that Count of Murphy Fisto himself, Thomas Murphy. It is good to see you back and healthy, Son Murph.
Thank you, bud. It was I was missing my time here with you, and of course all of you out there. Thank you for all the prayers, the well wishes, the good karma that got sent to me after my unfortunate car accident, and here I am, man. You can't kill me. You can't. I'm immortal.
What does not kill you makes you stronger. And
Yeah.
Murph, I think that's actually a really good segue into what we're going to be talking about with the New England Patriots, because it's almost killing our fan base right now to watch this team. It is weakening our fan base significantly. A lot of questions surrounding the way this team played on Sunday, Murph. Obviously, the Dolphins coming in here without Tua Tagovailoa, without Jalen Phillips. The pass rush is definitely weakened. Their offense at nearly a standstill. A lot of people looked at this as a potential get-right game for the New England Patriots, but a lot of questionable decisions along the way. The calls are getting louder for Drake Maye to step in and now be the quarterback of this team. Jabrill Mayo, as he usually does every Monday, speaks to the Greg Hill Show on WEEI. It's typically a time where he will give a pretty solid endorsement to Jacoby Brissett and say, no, Jacoby's our starter. Look, this happened, that happened. We've got to be better. Collectively, we all have to do better. We heard some of the collective, we all have to do better on Monday morning. But one thing we didn't hear was that vote of confidence. And it's getting a lot of people to speculate now, including ESPN's Adam Schefter, that a change may be afoot for your New England Patriots. But based on what you saw yesterday on the field, based on everything the Patriots are going through, taking under account Mayo's comments on Monday, are we looking at a beginning of the May era in Week 6 in Foxborough this weekend?
Yeah, I heard, I saw Mike Reese's tweet this morning about what Mayo had to say. I did not listen to the show, and I immediately quote tweeted it and said that Maye will be starting Sunday. That's it. It's a few weeks earlier than I had predicted, that I had hoped for. I was hoping that it would come out, maybe play the Colts game, have the week off after that to digest everything and get back into it. The Patriots simply cannot win with Jacoby Brissett. Okay, it's just it's gotten that bad. Let me give you some: 121, 149, 98, 168, and 160. All right. Those are the passing yards that Jacoby Brissett has put up in each game this year. One win. This team peaked in week 1. Been playing consistently less good football since that point in time. Amon-Ra St. Brown has the same amount of touchdown passes this year as Jacoby Brissett. Okay.
That's a damning stat. No disrespect to Amon-Ra St. Brown, but I mean, he's a wide receiver, folks, just in case you didn't know
He's
that.
lined up way the hell out here.
Mm.
Jacoby Brissett is often under center or behind, He actually lines up correctly, but after that, there's not a lot going on. He's missing open guys. He's overthrowing people, and what has come to fruition was my initial fear that this team would panic. They would be 1-5, 1-4, and they would throw this kid out there to the Lions. I didn't understand the game plan for Sunday, but if it was to ruin any chance of winning and keeping Jacoby Brissett under center, it was accomplished.
Look, if you're a Jacoby Brissett fan or you're an advocate of keeping him in the lineup right now, you can look at it and say he didn't turn the ball over on Sunday. He doesn't turn the ball over typically.
No.
Jacoby is not a turnover machine. But Boston Herald's Doug Kite pointed this out, and I think this is a very interesting point. With the game on the line through 4 straight incompletions from the Dolphins' 12-yard line with just over a minute left, Patriots still had 3 timeouts left on the clock.
Yep.
On the final play, 12 seconds, I alluded to this earlier, no timeouts. He completes a pass to Hunter Henry in the middle of the field.
Right.
That's going to cause the clock to run out. Great pass, great reception by Hunter.
I would have loved that in the third quarter.
Exactly. That's what you need to see when there's time left on the clock or a timeout, or at least the opportunity to advance a little bit more down the field. I think this was a microcosm for the Patriots season, believe it or not, Murph. This is a situation where you finally see something come together and look pretty good from pass to completion, but it's the wrong place at the wrong time. And play calling has to definitely shoulder a lot of that responsibility. But in that regard, you're a veteran quarterback. You've got to show a little bit more heads up in that situation. Drake Maye on Monday morning called this a misexecution on multiple levels. I think he was referring to play calling.
He should be referring to himself. All right, because this was a terrible game plan. He is the head coach. You could put it on the offensive head coach if you want. All right, but at a certain point, okay, when you're 1st and 10 on the Miami 12-yard line with 3 timeouts, as Mike just said, and Doug had run the ball. This is what you do. You run the ball. You ran the ball well all day long. Everybody you handed the ball off to. All right. The chunk plays in New England come from the running game. All right. One of the keys that was turned was to take more shots at the red zone from further out. I meant, out by the 20, not out by the 30. But Ramondre looked fantastic. Okay. I asked for more Gibson. I got a little more Gibson. I think they were both in for the exact same amount of snaps, but Gibson didn't get as many touches as Ramondre did. And run the damn ball. You had 3 timeouts.
Right.
Okay. You could have gotten another first down there. You were at the 12. And it was just infuriating. And it was terrible to watch it live. I was at work and I'm trying to watch and trying to work at the same time. And then I get home and I do my replay stuff. And I was losing my mind.
Yeah.
I was losing my mind. And that one sequence of plays when you can't put this loss right now for the first time on the offensive line. You can put it on the offensive coordinator and the quarterback because they did not get their jobs done this week. It was a terrible game plan. I said it in last week's keys. You have to establish your identity every single week.
Right.
And for whatever reason, Alex Van Pelt decided he was going to come out and sling it on Sunday. How many dropbacks did Jacoby have? Do you have that number, Michael?
40 dropbacks. And according to this, pressured on only 16. That's a season low.
Yep.
That's a season
low.
Well
done, Vidarian Lowe. Okay. Welcome back, Vidarian Lowe, who I didn't see give up a pressure all day.
Yep. He was not credited with one pressure all day.
No. I'm a little upset about the center play. Nick Leverett, 9 times. 9 times.
9 times.
He gave up pressures. Okay. That's 9 more than I gave up on Sunday. And that's bad. All right. I'm a very large man who used to play this position, and this man is out of position.
Mm.
Okay. He really is. The only good thing that I could say is he got the ball into Jacoby's hands every time he snapped it.
Yeah, considering the problems the Patriots have had in that area, Murph, yeah, you have to call that
Yeah,
a win.
a
So
win.
give Nick some credit. Obviously, stepping in for a legend
Yep.
like David Andrews is not an easy task. There's no question about it. But I think you hit on so many points. First of all, the establishment of the run, Alex
Right.
Van Pelt not living up to what we were all sold was going to be
Right.
his bread and butter, a solid running game, lean on the running game,
Right.
Even at times maybe lean unnecessarily on the running game to establish your
You're
identity and
averaging
open up shots down the
more
field.
yards per run than you are per pass on
Hmm.
Sunday.
Right.
And you throw the ball 4 times from the
Yeah.
12.
7.9 yards per run attempt for
Yep.
the New England Patriots. That's a team best. That's a season best for the New England Patriots. You had to ride Ramondre and Antonio. That was working. I
Yep.
don't understand why they abandoned it down the stretch and in key situations. That's on play calling, and I think you definitely make a good point. Yes, you want to come at AVP. Ultimately, Gerard Mayo is the head coach. He shares some accountability for that.
Yep.
On the final drive, again, just inexcusable to throw to Hunter Henry in that situation. You have Demario Douglas going
Right.
toward the sidelines. That's an easy hit.
Boom.
That can stop the clock. You also have, if you want to try to go for the win at that point, not something I would do, but if you do, Jalen Polk was closer
There was
to
nobody
that line.
behind him.
Exactly.
There was
So, I
no
mean,
one
you've got to
behind
take that
Jalen
shot.
Polk there.
Yeah.
Take that shot. Beautiful throw. Would have loved it in the third quarter. But I didn't, I didn't understand it there. There was
Yeah.
nothing to do. We had 2 men behind him. It was unreal. Polk had nobody behind him.
Yeah.
No one. Just loft the ball over, and he had the step. God, man, I'm sorry, folks. I'm
No,
sorry.
it's
I just
true. I
hate
think,
stupid. And
yeah.
this is the reason that the Patriots lost this game, because they were more stupid than their
Mhm.
opponent.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you echo the sentiments of all Patriots fans right now, and most of us here in the media that are starting to look at this. Look, I've been as staunch of an advocate of giving Drake Maye all the time in the world to get
Yep.
him out there. Don't rush him out there. After what you saw yesterday, it's hard not to say that Drake Maye is going to give this team a better chance to win. The only thing that I worry about, and this is my question to you, my friend, before we move on to the other reasons the Patriots lost this game on Sunday, is are the Patriots now forced to go to the well a little bit too quickly
Yep.
before that bucket can fill? Are you worried about the impact this could have
Yep.
on Drake Maye, putting him out there too soon?
Yeah, without a doubt. That's the way that's the reason it played out this way. And I hope I'm wrong, folks. I really do. I
Yeah.
hope he goes out there and kills it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But my entire thing has always been, let this kid learn. He has not played a lot of football. Okay. And getting 30% of the snaps, which also might, I've said in the past, might have been hurting Jacoby Brissett, taking 30% from him, to let Drake get acclimated to everything. But it's just gotten to the point where he's not seeing the field at all. All right. He is overthrowing his targets. He is underthrowing his. He refuses to throw anybody open. There is no anticipation to his game, whether he doesn't trust his wide receivers to make the right cut or the right break, or he doesn't trust himself. It's really, I can't believe I'm saying this. It's time. It's time.
Yeah.
I am tired of watching this inept stupidity put out in front of you. We deserve better. You deserve better than this.
Ultimately, Murph, we can point the finger as much as we want to at Jacoby Brissett, and I agree with you. I think this blame pie definitely needs to be on the plate of Brissett and, of course, the coaching staff, but they weren't the only reasons why the Patriots lost on Sunday. Undisciplined play.
Yep.
Yeah, these things simply cannot happen. There's no question about it. And of course, folks, Murph and I are well aware of Monday morning's developments and learning of the arrest of Patriots safety Jabrill Peppers. All that and more when this episode of the Locked On Patriots podcast continues, a proud part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Locked On listeners, when you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team to help you do it faster. Here's the best part, folks. They help you do it for free. Because LinkedIn isn't just a job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. And on LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnfl. That's linkedin.com/lockedonnfl to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Locked On listeners, you may have heard that the Halloween season is the season for a good scare. After all, Halloween lets us have fun with what scares us. But what about those fears that don't involve zombies and ghosts? Therapy is a great tool for facing your fears and finding ways to overcome them. Because sometimes the scariest thing is not facing our fears in the first place and holding ourselves back. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Overcome your fears with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/lockedon today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedon. Patriots fans, thank you once again for joining us here today on Locked On Patriots, making us a part of your daily New England Patriots coverage. Folks, if you've made us your first listen and continue to do so each and every day, we thank you from the bottom of our heart. A big tip of the cap to all of you everydayers. Implore you to make your second listen our good friends over at Locked On NFL. All the major storylines all across the NFL brought to you, broken down, analyzed by the amazing team of analysts we have here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Free and available on all platforms. Check out Locked On NFL, a proud part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And folks, we continue to break down the 15-10 loss to the Miami Dolphins. And here today to help us break it all down and share a lot of your angst on this one is my good friend, the Count of Murphy Fisto himself, Thomas Murphy. Murph, in the previous segment, we talked a lot about Drake Maye and the transition that appears to be imminent in handing the reins over from Jacoby Brissett to Drake. Concerns definitely there, but I think we're both in agreement that it may just be time no matter what. I don't think the Patriots have a choice anymore. I think a change is coming real soon, and it needs to. But we'd both be lying if we said that that was the only reason the Patriots lost on Sunday. And I want to delve a little bit deeper into that. The Patriots whistled for 14 penalties on Sunday, 13 of which had a detrimental effect. Our good friend ESPN's Mike Reese did a wonderful breakdown of some of these penalties, and he labeled 6 of the Patriots' 13 penalties as being fully avoidable. The horse collar tackle on Keon White, the roughing the passer in the headbutt, egregious, no excuse for either one of those. Then you have coaching problems with too many men, the punt return unit, Joshua Uche's attempting to run off. Exactly. That doesn't
Call
happen.
A bloody timeout.
Illegal formation, that gets declined. That's Hunter Henry and Jalen Polk. A false start on Hunter Henry, and then a false start on Nick Leverett when he moved the ball attempting to snap. When you see 6 avoidable penalties on the docket for the New England Patriots, what's the first thing that comes to your mind in terms of blame pie here?
Undisciplined coaching.
Thank you.
That's it.
Absolutely.
That's it. Okay. You have to practically beat it into these guys. Okay, to play within yourself, to play within the rules. For God's sakes, man, a false start. How long have you been in this league, Junior? Okay, you know the snap count. You know, it's not like you're not a big round guy down, in the mud, got somebody right over him, jumping in your face, and you can get somebody to false start. All right, we're talking about a receiver on the edge, and you sit there and you know the snap count, and you can't do this. This is undisciplined play. It's undisciplined coaching. This is terrible. And this goes back the past couple of years. Okay, it's not just this year, so I'm not just laying this on Mayo. For everybody out there that says that Murph is a Belichick stan, it was going on last year and it went on the year before. Undisciplined play. I've said I preach it and preach it and preach it every year. I mean, that's why it's part of the weekly keys. Limit the laundry.
Right.
And this is the laundry that you can definitely limit.
Without question. And I know a lot of my colleagues in the media were having a lot of fun at the expense of the officials yesterday and the flags being thrown all around. Yeah, the officials were flag happy. There's no question about it. I'm not going to deny that.
But the penalties were there.
But the penalties were there. And that is something that really, I think, needs to be.
Can't do this. When you are struggling in the way that this team is, and the one thing that you can control are these types of pre-snap penalties. You got to do it.
Yeah,
you have to. You can't hand any team, all right, even the worst team in the NFL, because right now it's the Patriots. The Patriots are the worst team in the NFL right now. But it was a battle. It was a battle for the toilet bowl on Sunday.
It was. It really was.
Patriots got flushed. And you can't hand even a team like Miami, who's struggling in the same way that you are. You can't just hand it to them, and that's what happened. Okay, you came in with a terrible game plan. You sat there. You put yourself behind the chains even more with these stupid submoronic penalties, and they're really submoronic. To get a roughing the passer call there right after you get a horse collar call. All right, it's just you sit down, but there's nobody else there. Okay, there's no one else there right now. And I'm at a loss, and I really don't. When I say that Drake Maye is going to start next Sunday, that's because I have the feeling that they've been pressured into it. I would still rather not see him go out and get killed, and I don't want them to think that because the line played as well as it did, and they came out unscathed. Nobody got hurt. Nobody on the line got hurt. And I think they're going to get another week in there. But I don't think Drake is ready. It's just the fact that I think everybody is fed up. I don't think that there's been a mutiny in the locker room, but there was that's something that I tip my hat to certain people for pulling out, because there is some dissension in there. There is some.
No question.
Even if players aren't coming out and saying it when they're being interviewed by some of the best people in this business, there's dissent, because these guys all see it. Nobody hates their coach. That's not what I'm saying, but they are asking, we've got something better over here. We're out here fighting for our lives. So could you guys help us out in the battle? It's a trade deadline move that you don't have to do, except put a guy in. So I think it's going to end up being this weekend.
Again, going back to the holding calls, going back to these penalties that the Patriots have, undisciplined play has been a problem for the Patriots the last couple of years. And ultimately, the responsibility lies with the head coach at the time. In the last couple of years, Bill Belichick does deserve that criticism. This year, Gerard Mayo still does. And in Mike's breakdown, you really see that. It's articulated and really, I think, put so well into print for people to see and for people to read.
I'm going to run off and read that right now.
We talked about the 6 previous that were egregious, like you said, bonehead penalties. I mean, there's no other way to sugarcoat that. The remaining 6, with the exception of one more delay of game in the punt unit, which probably was intentional, by the way, but 5 out of 6 of them were holding calls. Demontre Jacobs, Ramondre Stevenson, Nick Leverett, Jalen Polk, Vidarian Lowe, these all have to be better coached. And this is something that the Patriots need to work on this week. We've talked several times about, well, what are the Patriots going to do to improve? Ball security was #1 priority heading into this game against the Miami Dolphins. The ball security was much better here. They need to do a much better job of coaching discipline, coaching these guys to better technique, better judgment calls, get these guys to make better decisions.
The Ellis call,
the DPI on Christian Ellis.
3rd and 13.
3rd
and 13, and you get called for defensive PI on a 5-yard out. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's true. It really, really is true. And there's a lot of frustration on New England Patriots fans' plates right now, and there should be. And One area, Murph, that I don't think we'd be doing our job if we didn't at least touch upon it
Yep.
was the touchdown at the end of the game, which could have swung the pendulum directly into the hands of the Patriots. Let no mistake be made. The correct call was made.
Yep.
The way this
Sure
rule
was.
is written, the correct call was indeed made.
Yep.
Whether you like it or whether you don't, a toe drag is not the same as a toe tap.
Nope.
My problem is the rule itself. I think it's
Right.
kind of a ridiculous rule when you take a look at what
To me,
Jalen
you
Polk
get 2
was able
feet
to
down. You get 2 feet down, and you have control. It doesn't matter what happens after that.
do. Exactly.
Okay.
Whether it's the toe or
I
whether
go
it's the
back to
heel
the days
first,
where
you got
you
inbounds.
couldn't even push somebody out of bounds when they were in the air and have it
Yeah.
not be a catch.
Exactly.
All right. So it's a ridiculous rule, but it is the rule. If he had his heels down, it would have been a catch.
Yep.
but
Exactly.
he had the toe down.
Yeah.
And that's got to be it. He
Right.
came down. If he dragged, sure. If even if he had tapped and his feet came up in the air and he got pushed out, it still would have been a touchdown, I believe, if I'm reading that right. But it didn't meet the criteria. He stepped back and his heel was out of bounds. That's the way it is. You know,
Yeah.
the foot didn't come back up and it didn't, stay there, and he didn't get put. So that's the way the rule is. I thought it was a touchdown. Wrong on me.
I thought it was a touchdown as well. And if you read the actual rule, the way the rule is written in
Yep.
the bylaws, if any part of the foot hits out of bounds during the normal continuous motion of taking a step, whether that be heel to toe or toe to
Yep.
heel, then the foot is out of bounds.
Right.
A player is in bounds if he drags his foot or if there is a delay between the heel or
Yeah.
the toe or the toe and the heel touching the
Right.
ground. So the toe heel that caused this to be an incomplete pass, folks, was because there was one continuous motion from when
Right.
the toe hit to when the heel hit. If he dragged his feet, or again, if he tried to, pull like a Michael Jackson lean style out of Smooth
Right.
Criminal video, then he would have had a chance to do it. I understand why a lot of you are upset with that. Murph and I are not happy with the rule
No.
either, but it was officiated
You
correctly
don't often.
and it was
It
called
was,
correctly.
and you don't often see it called correctly.
Exactly. You really
don't.
and truly don't.
That's what really ticked everybody else off,
Yeah.
because you don't see that.
Yeah.
You see toes get down on the sideline and guys get pushed out, and
Yep.
or they fall. But touchdown, no problem. And
Yep.
that's what screwed everybody up.
Yeah.
And that's where consistency comes in officiating. These guys, they were flag happy as hell yesterday, but they were getting the calls right. Everything
Yeah.
that we're complaining about is a valid complaint because these guys got the call right.
Yeah. It made for a rough afternoon for the Dolphins and for the Patriots, but
Yep.
the Dolphins made that a little bit better.
Right.
They were the ones that came out on top. Tip your cap and credit to them. They were able to eke out a victory in a very ugly afternoon. But the New England Patriots' problems, Murph, are not just on the field now. Unfortunately, taking a more ugly turn than we had thought. Yes, folks, on Monday morning, there was a problem with a Patriots player happening off field. Jabrill Peppers, yet another team captain whose status could be in question. We're going to talk about Jabrill's arrest and the impact it may have on the Patriots on the field when this episode of the Locked On Patriots podcast wraps up right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Hey, NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed, when you place your first $5 bet. So if you're feeling pretty good about the chances of your favorite New England sports team, who just happens to be an underdog in week 4 against the favorites in the Bay Area, you can test your intuition and make the most of it with FanDuel.com. That's FanDuel.com. Patriots fans, thank you once again for joining us here today on Locked On Patriots, spending some of your melancholy Monday here on Locked On as the Patriots continue to lick their wounds from a 15-10 loss to the Miami Dolphins in Week 5. Pats dropping to 1-4 on the NFL season, with the Houston Texans coming to town. 4-1 Houston Texans. Will we see Drake Maye under center or taking snaps at quarterback? That's the big question right now, and we'll continue to talk about that each and every day this week right here on Locked On Patriots. So stay locked in. You're not going to want to miss a single second of the action. But here today, we are honored to welcome back our good friend, Thomas Murphy, who is back healthy, angry as ever, and we don't blame him one bit. And Murph, we've talked about this Patriots loss from a lot of different angles, but going to have to segue off of that for just the time being, because that's not the only story that the Patriots right now are dealing with in Foxborough. Of course, Monday morning, news breaking that New England Patriots safety Jabrill Peppers arrested on early Saturday morning on multiple charges. This according to a report from Braintree Police. Yep. Police responded to an altercation at a home that led Peppers to being arrested at the scene. He's being charged with assault and battery, assault and battery with a dangerous weapon, strangulation, and possession of a Class B drug that police believe to be cocaine. Peppers is expected to be arraigned in Quincy District Court on Monday. Murph, at the time we're recording this, his arraignment may actually be happening.
Yep.
Obviously, there's still a lot to learn with this, and neither you nor I are legal experts enough to be able to comment on the type of legal danger that Jabrill Peppers will be in as a result of this arrest. But from a logistical and an on-field perspective, this is a huge blow to the New England Patriots. What were your thoughts when you first heard this, and what are your thoughts on what it may mean for New England moving forward?
I was shocked. I was completely shocked and taken aback. Anybody that has ever, listened to Jabrill Peppers, you wouldn't think that this situation was something that would have his name attached to it. I really don't. This is my initial first reaction.
Very good point. Yeah, I think that's an important point to make here, folks. There is still a lot to learn about the situation, not even from commenting from a legal standpoint, but just the circumstances surrounding this matter. Such a sensitive issue and such a sensitive matter that, I think we owe it to all parties involved to just to learn a lot more about what happened before any type of judgment is passed. To his credit, Drake Maye was asked about this on WEEI's Good Greg Hill show on Monday morning. He said, yes, I mean, there is a situation, we're aware of the situation. He said Jabrill called him and let him know what was going on. So the Patriots are aware. They did issue a statement stating that they are aware of the incident involving Jabrill Peppers. Police are currently investigating. They will have no further comment at this time, saying that he's still a member of this team, meaning Jabrill Peppers, and he will be until they find out more information. From an on-field standpoint, Murph, obviously this could not come at a worse time for the New England Patriots, who are already struggling with the health of one of their team captains, one of their anchors in that defensive backfield, and that is Kyle Duggar. New England Patriots needed Jabrill to come in and be that stabilizing force. This is a team captain. Yeah. He's expected to act in accordance with that honor.
Welcome back, Marty Mapo.
Yeah, exactly. And
here's the green dot. Why was Marty Mapo wearing the green dot?
Because there wasn't anyone else on the team that could do it. And I'm glad you mentioned Marty Mapo, because not only did he play a very good game, coming back from an injury and coming back and playing his first game of the season, but you're right, he's also given the green dot in that respect. And that is a sign of respect, not only to the job that he can do in terms of dictating and knowing where players and teammates need to be, but also his communication skills. We heard this from Bill Belichick since the guy walked through the door here after being drafted a couple of years ago, that Marte was very interested in going on the sidelines and learning from players, being very close to Juwan Bentley and trying to learn what he did in terms of directing traffic, being very close to Kyle Duggar. Marty Mapo is going to be such an integral force here in trying to help this secondary in what could be the absence of Jabrill Peppers. Folks, we don't know the answers yet. We don't know whether Jabrill is going to miss time imminently or whether that's down the line. You have to think that's at least a possibility at this point. So the Patriots are going to need guys to step up. Hopefully, Kyle will be able to get back on the practice field sooner rather than later, but you're going to miss Jabrill Peppers out on that field. 36 games for the New England Patriots. He's appeared in since 2022 in coming through the door. 3 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries, 1 sack, but he's a warrior out there. He plays every single snap, every single down, and he's a guy that you can always count on. That's going to be a tough player to replicate, and the New England Patriots right now are going to have the unenviable task of doing so if, in fact, he is removed from the roster or removed from this team's field of play for any time soon. Yeah, just a terrible incident all the way
Yep.
around, and really coming at a bad time for the Pats.
It really is, and I'm not going to sit here in judgment. Like I said, that was an initial reaction. Let's just wait to see everything that in how everything plays out. Can we end on a good note, Michael?
Absolutely. But the highest note that we could possibly end on today is seeing you back here on the airwaves. We love having you around. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you're okay and everything is working well and progressing well there. Folks, you can catch him at TMurph207 on the Bird app, on Zitter, as my good friend likes to call it. Anytime he puts pen to paper, voice to microphone, every single week, folks, you have to turn Murph's monster keys. You check out the keys and turn them. You go to the top. You don't. You're never heard from again. I stand by that. Always the best read of the week as far as I'm concerned. So thank you, my good friend, for joining me here today on Locked On Patriots. And folks, we all thank you, each and every one of you, for making Locked On Patriots a daily part of your New England Patriots coverage. A lot more still to come, so stay locked into Locked On Patriots, folks. You will not want to miss a single second of the action. But in the meantime, on behalf of my good friend Thomas Murphy, I'm Mike Debate, reminding all of you to stay safe, to stay well, to be the change you wish to see in the world. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you back here again real soon on Locked On Patriots.